All right, guys, I am here. I'm Keshia Dennis. I'm the founder and CEO of the Elephant in the Room, Inc. And we all know that's my mental health charity. And we're here to promote, we're here to educate and advocate for mental health so that we can help erase the stigma. I'm here today with, let's see, what should I call you? Should I call you Antwon Blake, Valentino Blake? I know we'll get into it a little bit later, but right now, what you want me to call you?
Do you want the formal introduction or, just chopping it up? How you want to do it?
We'll go with Valentino for now.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so I'm here with Valentino. He's a former NFL player. He's an entrepreneur, and we're here to pretty much talk about mental health. We sat down. We had some deep conversations before, and we have some commonalities, and what we're trying to do is kind of like erase the stigma. So I guess my main question for you, and just to kind of like pop this thing off, is what's your initial thoughts on mental health?
To make it simple, mental health can make or break you. But of course we know it's so important to have be aware of your mental health. The stigma behind, especially in the Black community, it's like, you either don't have insurance, can't afford it, a psychiatrist, some shit like that, or it's usually just like a taboo thing, like,
right.
We're not doing that. We'll just get through it.
Exactly, especially like growing up in like the Black community, that's something that we just pretty much don't talk about at all, and it's something like, just go to church, we're just gonna pray about it, but things do have to come to a change, and that's why we're kind of here today. So how would you explain, or how would you tell me about your childhood? How was it for you growing up?
Well, for one, I grew up the only child from Jacksonville, Florida. Moved here in Houston, where we are right now. Probably like at 13, but it was pretty cool, man. Kind of cliche. Not really a daddy in the household. Grew up with my mother, grandma for the most part. Full of love. What they couldn't provide with financially, they of course provided with love.
Of course.
But I don't really want to say they ever discounted my emotions or my feelings, but that just wasn't something that was like harped on or talked about. They just like suck that shit up and keep it moving, like whatever.
Why do you think that?
Well, one thing, as I got older and became a parent myself, I just feel like it's just a lot of things we don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to never like fault my parents, because it's just shit they didn't know, and they couldn't teach me.
And did the best they could.
Right. And so it's a lot of things I had to learn on my own. So I would probably just contest that to them not really just being that in depth with their own personal mental health as well. So
right.
And that's another thing. Like, my family kind of has that shit in the bloodline as far as dealing with mental health issues and all that. So from hindsight, they should have been in depth with it. But
what was their way of dealing with it?
Drinking, drugs, self-medicating, overindulging in things. Everything. People look at addiction as far as just, it's drugs. No, it could be anything that you overindulge in, as far as if you eating too much, shopping too much. We all know somebody who, they can't help themselves when it comes to shopping. So.
Yep, I'm trying to just do things to kind of like take your mind off something at the moment.
Right.
So do you believe that someone's childhood, like let's take yours for instance, someone's childhood, how they were raised, how they were brought up, could ultimately affect their mental health as adults?
No, it definitely can, man. I forgot what the quote was, but it was like, I forgot where I seen it, but it was like, let's raise a generation of kids that we don't have to heal from their upbringing, or something like that.
Do you think that like your past, like your childhood, like take you for instance, like when you grew up and you had like your family in the house, like your parent, siblings or anything, do you think like the things that you went through growing up, maybe some sort of trauma that you didn't even know back then that it was trauma, that you had to just kind of like put in the back of your mind, do you think that could have affected maybe how you are today, how you interact today, maybe with your kids, maybe with how you interact with people? Sometimes like people have trust issues because some things from the past, like your family member had an uncle or another relative that you pretty much like, well, I just don't want to
be around them.
Yeah, I don't want to be around them, but they kind of force it on you a little bit.
Right.
And so now it affects you as an adult, and I'm wondering, do you agree with that? And is that something that you could?
Nah, your upbringing definitely affects your how you conduct yourself as an adult. I would think the main thing that I could probably speak on was just like the culture shock that I received when I came from Florida to Texas. Cause like I was living in like the, like I wouldn't say it was like the super projects, but it was just, you know, the apartments and shit like that. Just,
where in Florida?
Yeah,
or Texas?
Florida, Jacksonville. So, you know, never had a backyard, never had a front yard, never had to cut the grass, nothing like that. So, people selling drugs, getting killed, it was like a normal thing. And you don't really know that you living in like a danger zone until you get out of it.
Right.
So I moved to Texas. I moved with my granddaddy. We front yard, backyard. I got to learn how to do house chores and things like that. And then I get on like, well, at the time it was probably like MySpace or something.
Yeah.
And then you see a lot of things that's going on back home, and you kind of like, you start to like not believe it, because it's like, damn, that's crazy. Like, ain't none of that happening over here.
Wow.
So it's just like, I think that's the biggest thing that I could probably speak on.
How old were you when you made the transition from Florida to Texas?
I was 13.
Okay.
13.
So you just becoming a teenager. You just pretty much, or just falling into, I guess, place into line of who I guess you were becoming. Do you think that looking back now, that helped shape who you are today?
No, it definitely.
Because you had experiences from Jacksonville, and then
Right.
you have experiences from Texas, which was totally different.
Man, I definitely think it do. I feel like I probably got the best of both worlds, because, like I said, when I moved to Texas, it was just a complete culture shock, and then I was able to engulf myself with the Texas culture. So now when people ask me, it's kind of like I spent like half of my life in both areas, so I feel like I'm from Texas now as well.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I just feel like it's a part of me.
So when you were back in Jacksonville, and I guess in Texas too, I know you played sports in Texas. Did you play in Jacksonville as well?
Yeah, I played like little league football and stuff like that.
And then when you moved to Texas, it was probably, how was the transition with that with football?
It was football was crazy, because in Texas everybody know football is just, it's off the chain out here. Like they facilities and everything is like state of the art. Like you can go to a high school out here and it's better than a college. So not saying that Florida didn't take football serious, because of course Florida is one of the meccas of football, but
Yeah.
out here, that's when I first started lifting weights. As a teenager, you lifting weights, you going to camps and things like that. So it was just like, I feel like it just helped me fast track my path to, you know, what I ultimately decided to go play pro. But
Right. So it sounds to me like you really pretty much, you had sports as your outlet.
yeah, it was. Like I said, I grew up without any siblings. So like a lot of people, they be like, damn, how you did that? Or,
No siblings,
Yeah, no
none.
siblings at all. So
It was just you and your mom?
well, when I moved to Texas, it was my grandfather too. So sports was probably a way of me having like a brotherhood, or even if it was like a unisex league, having a sister. You feel me? So that's kind of like how an extended family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So if you know, sports was your outlet, you ultimately went to the NFL, and you were considered a beast out there. However, you know, it leads to my next question, is kind of like, you just suddenly gave up this sport, and then it was a suspicious tweet that was out there. So tell me, why'd you give it up?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, in hindsight, it seemed like it was just like a overnight, just sporadic decision. But I mean, I feel like I was really mentally, I was just in a dark place. I was
Really?
fucked up with it, you know what I'm saying? So it was just something I was contemplating for probably like 2 or 3 seasons before I even made that decision. So I just feel like ultimately it was just the best decision for myself, for my family. As a man, I had to look myself in the mirror and realize that if I don't help myself, nobody else is.
Right.
I tried everything else, so now I gotta go help myself. I gotta find out what works for me. Right. And if football was to come back in my life, it would happen. So that wasn't a concern at the moment. Like I just cared about my livelihood and my health.
It's really like rare, especially then, for people to put their mental health first.
Right.
Because a lot of people, they look at it like, you worked so hard to get where you were. And you're like, I made it. But a lot of people, they would just continue to go on and on and on and let themselves just get torn down and not consider their mental health. So I know you said it took you 2 or 3 seasons, but like, how did it, like, what was it that started it?
Man, I don't know. Like, so before going to the NFL, I never in my life seen a psychiatrist, been to a session or whatever. So that, those things started, once I went pro. But I can't really pinpoint just one thing. I would say probably just everyday obstacles of life. And then a lot of things start just compounding on you. And you're dealing with a lot of things on your own. For one, you might be the only one in your family that has been in this situation. So a lot of people, they can't feel where you're coming from. Like your family, they try to help you out as much as they can. They want to give you words of encouragement. But they just really on the outside looking in, no matter how close they are to you, because they're not experiencing the things you're experiencing.
Do you feel like you had to pretty much take care of everybody else? Did that kind of play a role? Or did you just feel like you just woke up one day not feeling the organization? Did you just wake up one day and just say, you know what, I'm not happy with what I'm doing anymore?
Man, I just think it was, I think for the most part, it was just my overall happiness. Like, I pride myself on being myself. I like to laugh. I like to be silly. I like to be goofy. So when I wasn't feeling that in my everyday day-to-day life, it was hard on me because I just felt that difference.
Would you say that you struggled with depression, stress? Was it anxiety or a combination of all of them?
I think it was more of a depression thing because, like I said, the first time I ever went to see a psychiatrist was in the NFL. And then, once you go into the office, when I ask you questions, get to know you and shit like that, then it's like, oh, well, you're suffering from this, you're suffering from that. And it's like, well, I've been feeling like this for a while, so I guess I've been depressed for a while.
Really? When you say a while, what's a while?
Like years.
Years, yeah.
And I mean, it's like I said, in the black community, it's kind of a taboo thing. So it's kind of like, man, suck it up and keep it moving.
You got to be strong, keep on going. We'll pray about it. Just put it in the back of your mind. But then it is a different feeling when you go see like a therapist or somebody and they just start all of a sudden diagnosing you and telling you, well, you're suffering from this and we're going to unpack that. And you're like, dang, well, I never knew that I felt some kind of way about this. So I'm sure that had to have been a shock.
No, it really was. And I was open to it. I was becoming not an older adult. I was transitioning from college to the NFL. So I was just open to learning more about myself. But sometimes when it comes to those things, especially something that you've never done, it's kind of like, how do I even know they legit telling the truth or this and that? So it just took me a while to open up. Well, really, if ever, I don't ever think I opened up to them because it just wasn't, I felt like it didn't work for me.
Really? So do you think that, when you say you don't feel like the therapist worked for you, was it your decision to go see them in the beginning or was it the team's decision? How did you end up going?
Man, I don't even remember, dog. It can't be the, they always talking about football players and memory and shit, but.
That's another thing though. Like being an athlete, being a football player in particular, y'all have such a physical job. And so we forget sometimes like, hey, it's a strenuous sport and it's, everybody's so quick to let's take care of your leg, you broke your arm or you broke your finger, you're gonna play through it. But
oh no, for sure.
Like what about your mental health? I don't think that it's been much of a topic because like we said, it's taboo. A lot of people don't talk about it. So
yeah, I mean, to going off of what you said, just from growing up a child playing sports, it's kind of like, don't worry about, you never was taught to think about like, how do I feel in my head?
Yeah.
As long as my body is decent enough to go do it, then go do it, because that's what you're doing. But especially like the pressures of the NFL, it's kind of like, you out there to feed your family. You know what I'm saying? And try to get money to live how you want to live. So it's like, even if it's been plenty of days where was ready to walk away that day, you feel me? But it was like, shit, I gotta go out here and get this bread, or, you know, I'm not ready to make that decision. But it's like, you know that you could probably, like one of my last seasons, like my whole year I was like fighting injuries. And like, I really could have just sat it down, but it was just like, I can't do this. Like, I gotta keep going, because that's what my body telling me to do. That's what I was raised to do. But it's like, in hindsight, I should have just sat out.
Yeah. Dang. So like, even having injuries, did that play on your mental health as well? Because it's like, well, I know that I'm physically hurt, but I'm still having to push through this. And in your mind, like you said, you wanted to end up quitting, but you're like, I have to do this because of, I got to take care of family. I want to live this certain lifestyle. Like, you've been accustomed to it. And ultimately, you know, playing the sport is something that you love doing. So do you think that your physical injuries affected your mental injuries?
Nah, definitely. And like, to answer your question, when I didn't know when it started, now that I think about it, like I said, I had a year where I had a lot of injuries. I was battling a lot of injuries. Once you start getting hurt and you can't really play the way you're accustomed to playing, and then it's all type of things, the media, fans talking shit, you might have a bad game, and it's just like, all that stuff just keep piling up on you. And it's kind of like, nobody knows except probably the coach or the trainer that you hurt. So it's like, you're not finna whine about it or say, oh, I did this, or I missed this play because I was hurt or some shit like that. But it's like, people really don't know what be going on. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. So that, like, did you hold it in?
Yeah, definitely. I internalized a lot of things. And I feel like that really just what the issue was, just holding everything in until you just couldn't hold it in no more. And it was just like, fuck it, I gotta go.
Yep. And I think that typically happens for a lot of us. It's a lot of people, like, right now, today, in the league, not in the league, working corporate jobs, they're holding a lot of stuff in. And I mean, I know you've seen a lot of these stories about these young kids, they're committing suicide. I read something recently where a 4th grader committed suicide. And to me, it's just, that's outrageous, and the things that people are dealing with now. So when you went to go see the therapist, was it your decision, or did you talk to the coach and say, hey, look, this is what I'm going through, then we go see somebody, or how'd that go?
Yeah, I think it really, I think it was, I think I just hollered at like the trainer.
Yeah.
And was just telling him I wasn't really feeling well as far as my mental space. And they, you know, they set me up an appointment to start talking with somebody. But like I said, I feel like it really didn't work for me.
Why not?
The main thing is, I feel like it just, for most people, well, I can't speak for most people, for myself, it just takes too long to get a breakthrough. Or for most sessions, I feel like they was just saying anything to pacify me.
Going through the motions.
Right, because then at the end of the day, it's just like, okay, I listened to you. Now here's this prescription to go take these antidepressant pills or whatever type of shit. And it was just like, it wasn't working.
How did the medications make you feel?
Man, it really, it took me out of my zone. Like, you just zone out. You don't want to be bothered with anybody. It would go days like that I wouldn't talk to people.
Really?
Like, you just feel lethargic. And then it's like, before you leave, they like, oh, well, you know, if you start thinking about hurting yourself or something like that, you need to let us know. And it's kind of like, when you're trying to get better, but you don't think about it, you like, if I'm taking something that's going to make me want to hurt myself, like, I shouldn't be taking this shit. So.
That's wild. So then, I know the meds had to have been a breaking point, saying, all right, you don't want to take it anymore. What did you do after that?
Man, well, I just...
Did you look into different methods, like the holistic approach?
Well, what I did at first was that we can get into, like, when I first quit football, I quit everything in life. And I just started running the streets, doing a lot of drinking and shit, just trying to figure things out. But,
So this was, right after you just quit football?
Yeah, I was just like, I finally felt that.
So wait a minute, let's go back. So you went to the team therapist. You said it wasn't really for you. They put you on medications. You were like, nah, you wasn't feeling, how.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Like, this was for every team that I went to. Right. I would get, because one thing about the NFL is, it's kind of like a file. So like, what's in your file, it's gonna follow you to every team. So when they sign you, they're like, oh well, he need to get hooked up with the psychiatrist and all this type of stuff. So I would have those type of meetings with every team psychiatrist, but being my first experience with taking those type of prescriptions, things like that, I couldn't tell you if it was working or not because I didn't know.
Why not?
Because I just didn't know what it was supposed to be.
Oh.
You know, they telling me to take this, it's gonna help me feel better, or it's gonna help me focus and this and that. And then when I look back at what I was going through in those situations, I felt like it didn't help me at all.
So were you playing when they was still giving you the prescription?
Yeah.
So you was really just kind of going through the motions.
Going through the motions, and that's when I knew I had to really just focus on myself and just kind of leave that behind, because it would be days where I would make a play, a good play or a bad play. It all felt the same to me. I wouldn't care. You know, it was like something that I loved so much growing up became something that I really didn't care about, and it was kind of like, once it got to that point, I felt like it was time for me to move on in life and do something else.
Yeah. Where was your family at the time?
Here back in Texas, Houston.
Did you talk to them about it? Or was it something was like, yeah, I'm not comfortable yet. I'm just kind of going to go through this by myself. I'm just in a state of depression. I'm just not feeling it.
First it was just me. I was just going through it by myself. Just finding things that I thought would help me get through it. And then sometimes I would, your family, if they know you, they're going to know you're going through something. But I wasn't just really reaching out to people. I always took the approach in life to just figure things out for myself and get through it. I mean, that's not how I operate now. But back then, I was just trying to get through everything on my own.
Yeah, kind of goes back to what we were saying before. That's just how we were brought up. Like, don't bring it up, just suck it up, just keep going. But now, of course, I mean, while we're here, we're trying to change the narrative of that, trying to get more people to talk about it. And even to make bold moves like you did, just said, you know what, my mental health is a little bit more important than this. So once you quit football, once you retired, you pretty much said, forget the medications. I'm just out here wilding for a little bit.
Man, I really was though. I kind of felt like I was just, for the first time since probably a childhood, I wasn't on a schedule. Oh. I was free to just go do whatever I wanted to do, just run the streets. Yeah. And when you playing somewhere else that's not your hometown, whenever it's the off season, you get those few months to just catch up on what you was missing. But it was just like, man, I took a whole year just catching up. And it was kind of like, it just took me a while to get out of that mode, the transition from playing ball, coming home, running the streets, to just settling down and focusing in on what I have going on now and where my head is at now.
Like when you quit, did you consider or say, well, I might go back?
Well, like I said, I just feel like I wanted to do something else and just find a way to help myself.
And just be happy.
I was just be happy, but I always had that faith, like, if God wanted to be back in my life, it'll come back around. So I wasn't really, like, I really don't trip over much.
You're real easygoing. I mean, I'll be honest, you're real easygoing. But one thing I can say is, like, I definitely commend you. I think that's a brave move for you to just say, you know what, I want to do something that actually makes me happy.
Right.
Because a lot of times it's people out here making millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they're not truly happy. And I mean, for instance, Robin Williams, he committed suicide, and he was known for making everybody else laugh.
I feel like I said, I like to play around and be goofy and shit. But even when I was having my darkest days, it was still easy for me to go around people and portray myself like I was being happy. And
I was going to ask you, so what was it like on some of your darkest days? Were you just secluded to yourself, or would you, when you had to be out and be around people, were you still a little antisocial, or were you just like, all right, let me put the mask on, let me just be who people know I am? Because
it probably was just putting that mask on, trying to make it seem like everything was all right. But you start creeping into like certain habits where people who close to you can start like noticing like something not right with him. He drinking too much, he hanging out too much, he missing this appointment, he not being reliable and shit like that. So once those type of things started going on in my life, it was kind of like, all right, well, it's something that's really going on. I don't feel like myself. I'm not handling my responsibilities. I don't care about shit. It's just like, you need to fix whatever's wrong with you.
So, I mean, did anybody say anything to you? Did they kind of like say, hey, what's going on? Like, you tripping or you need to tighten up? Did anybody from the NFL reach out and say, hey?
Man, I have friends that I talk to, and, you know, that I vented with a few times, and they would give me advice. But it all boils down to, like I said, once I got home and you know, I was the only person there in the room with my thoughts. It was just about how I felt and what I thought about everything. Because one thing about myself is I'm going to listen to your opinion, I'm going to digest it, but if I don't feel like it's right for me, I ain't going to, you feel me? I'm going to still do what I want to do.
Right.
So at those times, I was listening to my friends, I was listening to my mother, whoever, but I was still doing what I wanted to do, or what I felt was what I should be doing at the time really wasn't what I should be doing.
So what did it take for you to get out of that, I guess, phase? Because you said at the time it felt good, but you're like, I know that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. Like, what got you to a seriously healthy place mentally?
Man, well, that's a really, I would say the first thing is, it was just, once you look yourself in the mirror, and it's like, it don't matter what, like, I don't really care what people think about me. Well, I don't care what people think about me. But I had to look myself in the mirror as a man. I had to realize that it was things that was going on in my life that I didn't agree with for myself, that I didn't want myself to be portrayed as. You know, you just had that moment with yourself, and it's like, dog, you tripping, like you need to tighten up. So it was just, whether it was running the streets, drinking too much, fighting, going places, not remembering shit like that, and it was just like, God not gonna keep allowing me to make it out of these like situations. Cause I done been in some situations, like real life situations, where it could have been, I either could have been dead or in jail, or I probably could have killed somebody, you feel me? So like, when you sober up and you start reflecting on it, you kind of like, you be so embarrassed. And it's not necessarily embarrassed as far as to other people, it's just, you let your own self down. Cause you know, if you have any type of pride, you're gonna hold yourself to a certain standard. Right. But it was just like, once I just started feeling like I was letting my own self down, it was like, dog, you need to like shape up and get your life together. Yeah. You know, of course I have a family, I have kids.
I was gonna ask you have kids and stuff.
Yeah, I have 4 kids, a mother, father, friends, people that love me. But of course, they was behind that driving force in the back of my mind. But like I said, it was up to me.
It was up to you at the end of the day.
Like, I had to make that conscious effort. Because of course, people gonna tell you, like I said, those few years I was going through shit, of course people gonna be like, man, you tripping or this and that. Like, I wasn't listening to that because that wasn't what I wanted to do at the time. But once I finally had that coming to self moment with myself in the mirror, it's kind of like, get your life together. And if you're doing it for yourself, everybody that you love and care about, and that care about you and love you, they're gonna benefit from you being the best you could be anyway.
Right. Would you consider yourself still going through some sort of phase of depression at that time and not really calling it what it is, or not really acknowledging it? Or would you just say it was just like, you know, what you were going through? During
that transition phase? Or
like when you were, I guess, out here making these poor decisions, would you still consider like yourself being depressed? Because you said you had to go home.
I feel like I was in a dark place, but like I said, I feel like the main reason why I was just running the streets, drinking so much and just trying to keep it moving, because I didn't want those thoughts to catch up to me. But it's okay to talk to somebody. Like I said, I wouldn't talk to nobody, or I just try to figure things out. I don't have all the answers. I know that. I've been through that, but I wasn't living like I knew that. But just be honest with yourself, live in your truth. Keep a track of your behavior. Like, like with drinking, I didn't think I was an alcoholic, but when I was having issues and going through, getting into fights or going through this and going through that, if alcohol was one of the main contributing factors, then I had a problem with that at the time. So that was a problem, you know what I'm saying? So you just gotta address your problems head on. Like, don't lie to yourself about nothing.
And I think it's really big to mention that you said just be transparent. You have to like be honest with somebody or talk to somebody. And sometimes, like you said, like therapy, it didn't work for you, and it may have been because of the type of therapy that you were receiving. You felt like it was like, oh, they're just going through the motions. They're doing their jobs pretty much. However, I think it's important of what you said, like being able to talk to somebody, because if you have like a good friend, or if you have like a family member, somebody that you trust, that's therapeutic.
Somebody you respect too.
Yeah.
Cause a lot of times, I'm gonna respect people regardless. I'm gonna just get them respect, but it's different tiers to respect. I'm gonna respect people just as a human, because everybody deserves respect. But there's certain people that you respect to a certain level, as far as your parents or just somebody that you care about to the utmost in your heart. But those therapists, they just got normal respect for me. They didn't get the respect for me as far as me wanting to really engage with them. Mm-hmm. And I think the most part was because I didn't feel like it was real.
Mm. So did you have respect for the trainer? Like, what made you want to go to that particular trainer to say, this is what I'm going through and I need you to help me?
I just feel like a person like me, man, I just feel like I'll try anything once, except cracking cocaine or some shit. But I just felt like, man, it wouldn't hurt. Like, if anything, it's either gonna be worse or it's gonna help. So I just went out on a whim to see. You watch enough TV, you hear about enough. Let me go see for myself. And
that alone tells you, like, how bad you were suffering and how bad you were wanting to be better as a person, for you to say, it was worth a shot. You kind of wanted to be better. So, that's definitely big. I know now it's a lot of guys pretty much in the NFL that are, starting to speak out a little bit more. And I know the NFL has been trying to do a better job with mental health. I believe last year they came up with some new mental health initiatives. And I know that they're going to have some people that'll support the players, the teams, players' families, just certain things like that. So how do you feel about it? You think that it'll make things better?
Well, I haven't really felt like I've been a part of an NFL circle since I walked away from football. So that's been some years now. So I don't even watch like sports, so I couldn't tell you if that's going on or not. But if they're taking those steps to even bring it to the light even more, I feel like that's a great thing. It's gonna help somebody. You ain't gotta help everybody, but it's gonna help somebody.
I hope so. Well, that kind of also brings me back to my other question, because when we first sat down, I know I call you Zilla.
Let me loosen up a little bit.
I was like, so what are we going to call you for this interview? Is it going to be Antwon? Is it going to be Blake? Is it going to be Valentino? What's the story behind this whole name thing?
Yeah, I'm a man of many monikers. Man, I think for real though, the biggest thing was probably because that was my first time switching I was with a new team, so a lot of people like, oh, he went to a new team, he changed his name, and it's just like, I saw the opportunity, they asked me what I wanted to be called, and I was just like, shit, this is what my family called me, so this is what I want everybody else to call me. So they just made it seem like I switched my name because I was at a new team, or I was trying to just change my name, and it was just like, it wasn't on no like Ocho Cinco type stuff, you feel me? Like, that was my real name. So it wasn't really a name change at all. It was just using my middle name as my first name. That was it.
Okay, because I was like, I know you told me that was your middle name, so I was like,
But to be real with you, I tried to tell them boys to put Zilla on there.
No.
And they was like, well, we can't do that. But they was like, man, we gotta use a real name. Yeah. So I was just like, all right, we'll put Valentino. I like that name too. But I was really trying to get him to put Zilla on there.
Did they think something was going on with you because you wanted to change it, or?
Nah, fans, it's like, sports fans is like the most, they kind of like chihuahuas, you know what I'm saying? Just so much barking all the time, just yapping all the time. Sports is a big thing, a lucrative thing, so people are always constantly talking about sports, but that was just another storyline to talk about. And then, the way social media is set up now, you could go tweet Beyonce. She might not reply, but you can go tweet Beyonce, you feel me? Yeah. So people feel like you so accessible, they gonna hit you up, they gonna write you, they gonna give you their thoughts and shit like that. And it's kind of like, I don't really care what you're trying to.
Speaking of social media, like, I personally believe that I see where things shifted in social media.
In mine?
Huh?
In mine?
No.
Oh, in
just
general?
in general, yeah.
Oh.
Like you said, because people, you could tweet Beyonce, you can tweet whoever you want to tweet. Like, the internet and social media gives you so much access to pretty much anybody. And I do feel like social media has impacted mental health. I feel like a lot of people compare themselves to other people online, and just like you said, like, I don't know what it feels like to have like a bunch of people like chihuahuas, as you say,
Man,
like just
real.
attacking you online. So I know, like, mentally, I would really just kind of maybe want to log off, or maybe want to come back. I don't know what I would want to feel at that time.
I feel like the biggest thing is you can't take. First of all, I feel like for the people, especially the people that you don't know, well, sometimes the people that you really do know in real life will show you just how fake social media is. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't take none of that to heart. Like, it's so fake. Like, you can't let somebody who don't know you personally hurt your feelings about some shit they seen on a game or on TV or what they read in the newspaper. You just gotta let them know, like, they just talking. Like, bro, you're not gonna pull up on me. Mm. You're not gonna say all that in person. So it's like, well, I'm not even gonna respond. It's not even gonna get to me.
Mm. Well, I wish, like, I hope younger kids hear this, and I hope that they understand that it's tough living in the social media era. However, like you said, you can't let some of these people's words really get to you that much, because I've read so many times where young kids were committing suicide, and young kids where the whole bullying thing, it's just really huge now. So I know social media plays a part.
Yeah, man, we see it every day on the news where it's like, and I feel like with the suicide thing, every time it's a new story, it's a younger child. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, when I was 6 or 7, 8 years old, I had no idea how that even whole situation would happen. And it was kind of just like, it's just to the point now where it's so sad. And it's just, I never in my life believed in bullying or just talking down on somebody and disrespecting people. So it's just like,
because you don't know when that person is having a breaking point. You don't know if your one word or one comment to them was what took them over the edge.
Man, to be real with you though, that's why I try to tell my kids, like, I don't really teach violence, so we're gonna try to talk it out first. Mm-hmm. But some people just need to get slapped in the mouth. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing they're gonna understand, because a lot of bullies, that bullying stuff is comprised of being a coward. That's what I feel it is. So like, a lot of people, they not happy with who they are within themselves, so they gonna try to tear you down any way they can to make themselves feel better. Right. And it's not gonna make them feel better. Well, it's not gonna change who they are. Right. So it's just gonna keep, that process is gonna keep going and going and going. It's like, they just not happy with who they are.
Okay, so looking back now, you had a great career. Played a lot in the NFL.
It was decent.
He had a good career.
It was great.
He had a good career.
Yeah. It was like
you did what
the
you
stock
loved,
market.
though.
It was great though.
But you did what you loved at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And since you did say it was kind of like up and down, what's some advice that you would give to maybe a 22-year-old just drafted to the league, as far as like mental health maintenance? How should you take care of yourself? Man,
bro, for one, first off, don't get caught up in the hype. People get drafted. I know people that's either went first round or went undrafted. They want to go get a new car. They want to do this and that. Bro, you ain't got to keep up with the Joneses, dog. Like, whoever going to be there for you before all this happened, like, I still got my same dogs that I've been rocking with since forever. Because I wasn't never into it about the money or trying to get fame or nothing like that. Because if I was, I wouldn't have never left. Right. But like I said, for the mental health aspect of a new person coming into the league, don't get caught up in the hype. I think the biggest thing is figure yourself out. Take the time to figure yourself out, who you are as a person, because you get on this strict schedule as an athlete and you just get accustomed to being in a certain place at a certain time. And then your free time is so limited, where a lot of people, they don't, like myself, I wasn't making the most out of my free time and going to figure out what I really like to do. I would just go run the streets right quick until it was time to go back. And it's like, damn, I really wasted my free time and I don't even know what I like to do as a person for real.
That's some good advice. That's really sound. And I think, luckily in your case, you found a way to pretty much still, I guess, towards the end of your career, found out what it was that you really like? Because I know you have a lot going on now. I know you have like the clothing line. I know you have restaurant. Tell me, what is it? What else you have going on?
Well, like you said, I have the apparel line, Freezilla Apparel. A lot of people ask me like, where the name come from?
Is this your hoodie?
Yeah, this.
And your backpack?
Yeah, and
this
my
is
water,
cool, and water.
And the CBD water.
CBD infused water.
Yeah, man. So I just feel like I've been a grinder. I've been a hustler my whole life. Like, I'm always make it happen. So that's just another avenue to get out there and make things happen. But with the gear, that just started off as a hobby. Mm-hmm. Like, I was just getting things made for myself, and then I would go to like the grocery store. People would just be like, you know, where did you get that from? And then I was just like, fuck it, I might as well capitalize off of it and just see where I could take it. As far as the restaurant where we at right now, Le Chateau Houston, it was something me and my a good friend of mine, she kind of like a sister to me. Mm-hmm. We had just been contemplating on starting something for so many years. You know, it started off as want to do like a daiquiri lounge, do this, do that, and then we finally, you know, got into the bistro type of setting. And
it's nice. I remember I came on a Sunday brunch and it was live.
It was many things in our mind before we actually, you know, started this place. You know, it was we wanted to do a daiquiri shop, we wanted to do this, do that, woo. Mm-hmm. So we finally, you know, honed in and opened up this place. We've been open almost 2 years in July. So that's one thing.
That's really nice.
What else? Oh, appreciate it. Another thing. So I kind of moonlight as a amateur chef. So, you know, that's one of my hobbies. So I just started the YouTube page. So I'm gonna start me like a little podcast soon about you know, just cooking and things like that. I'm actually getting ready to go to culinary art school in the spring. So that's just another thing that I'm gonna do. What else? This year I'm looking to start my nonprofit organization. It'll be kind of geared around mental health as well.
Dope, super dope. We need more of that.
So that's just one thing. But really, I mean, I might think of something else to do on the way home. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because my whole mind frame this year and probably just moving forward in my life is I'm gonna spend more time doing things and figuring things out than I'm actually spend thinking about doing them. You know what I'm saying? We spend so much time procrastinating when we could have started this project, completed this project. I just don't want to procrastinate about anything. Right. Oh, another thing.
What you got?
I'm working on a children's book right now.
A children's book?
Yeah.
That's dope. That's super cool.
Yeah, so I think that's probably gonna be my biggest goal, the children's book.
And you have 4 children, right?
4 children.
That's super
4
cool.
children.
Well, I know they're gonna be excited about that.
Yeah, so.
That's super cool.
Yeah, man. Like I said, ain't no telling. By the time I walk from here to the door, I might be thinking something else that I can do.
Idea.
So, like I said, I'm gonna just keep myself busy and figure out a lot of things I want to do in life and not procrastinate about anything.
That's big. Well, what's your Instagram handle? Do you have, you said, a YouTube page for your cooking, or where can we find you?
Instagram, Twitter, all that is Zillamain41. You know, like Terrence Howard when they always put that main, like main, come on, main. So Zillamain, the number 41. That's Instagram and Twitter. The YouTube page, it's like Chef Zill or something like that. But I was trying to get people to find it, but you gotta have a video first.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna get some videos on there, and then we're gonna get that rolling. But that's pretty much it. I don't really be fooling with social media that much. I'm gonna get to the point where I eventually just get rid of all that. But right now it's kind of useful.
Right. Well, that's cool. Well, I definitely wanted to thank you for sitting down and talking to me today about mental health. Yeah. I appreciate you for being vulnerable. I appreciate you for opening up. I appreciate you for giving advice to everyone who's listening pretty much. And I'm certain that what we've discussed and what we've talked about, it'll help someone out there. So you're incredible.
Man, I appreciate the opportunity. I'm sure it will. Which one the camera is? If you're going through something, bro, don't be afraid to tell somebody. Don't be afraid to look yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. I feel like for one, it's gonna hurt at first, but the positivity and the growth that comes from it is gonna be unparalleled. So it's just, you know, don't be scared to take that initiative.
That's beautiful.
I feel like it's so many people that didn't get the chance. Like a lot of people, they killed themselves or died some type of way before they had the chance to actually have that moment with themselves. So as long as God keep putting air in your lungs, don't be afraid to have that moment with yourself. That's
major.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I think that's really important. Whoever heard that last part, pretty much, I'd be moved.
Keep it real. Keep it real, man.
You can follow us on Instagram at The Elephant in the Room Inc. And stay tuned for more videos, more interviews about mental health, because together we'll stand up to the stigma, acknowledge the elephant in the room, acknowledge.
Oh, my bad.
What you got?
Your shit up. I forgot I got something in my bag for you.
Dang, so you gotta give it to me.
Yeah, all right. Wait, before you cut the camera, I almost forgot. Man, since we were talking about the gear, see these here, this ain't nobody even got this yet.
Oh, Lord.
So,
man.
Shoot.
Y'all, I'm excited.
You know, I had to make sure my dog Keshia get one, man.
Oh, and I love.
Yeah, man. So
I feel so exclusive now, y'all. I'm gonna put it on now.
You know, so.
Oh, this is super dope. Super cool. Zilla May.
Yeah, man. You know, gotta rep the set.
Yeah, I'm feeling much. Oh, I like. Oh, I'm sorry. My mic.
Oh.
It's okay. Sorry, I got excited about my hoodie. You guys, this is pretty cool.
Man. Yeah, it look good on we twins. Twins.
Hey, this is nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It was no problem at all.
Appreciate it. Now I can go back home and brag. Thank you again.